Peace, Prince Ash here, back with another video. I woke up there, it's the middle of the night, it's 4:45 in the morning and I can't sleep, so said I'd do another vlog, like, you know. And someone asked me in a previous video, so I said I'd do this video. The exact question, I'll get it for you now. It's excuse me, I will get there with it. So the question is, I want to hear about how you got into music and what sorts of genres were you into throughout your life. It's basic enough to answer this question because I was always into rap. But if you take it back to my early childhood, I was introduced to music by my parents, and I'm from Galway, Ireland, the west of Ireland, and the first music I was shown was the Beatles and U2, and some Celtic rock bands like the Horslips, but the bones of it was Beatles and U2, and I loved their music. I loved Let It Be, and I've forgotten the names of half of the music now. And U2 wise, Beautiful Day was, and still is, one of my favourites, like. And it's pretty cool that, like, my parents introduced me to that music. Like, I'm looking back in retrospect, I'm really grateful they showed me, like, some great music to start off. Like, I remember listening to, like, Let It Be and the guitar solo when it comes in, and I remember, like, getting emotional, like, the first few times hearing it. Like, I'm fucking... Same with U2, Beautiful Day. It'd fucking make me emotional. It'd bring a smile to my face as well, like. And I suppose as I got a little bit older and I got to the age of like 10, 11, I obviously started to listen to a lot more shit that was in the charts, like Tiny Tempa, Ellie Goulding, and there was a few going on at the time, and you know, there was a basic template for a hit song at that time. This is the way I saw it anyway, this is my experience. It was a female with a nice melodic hook, followed by a rap verse, and back into a bridge or back to the female singing, and they drop in a rap verse and then maybe a second rap verse after again. And that seemed to be like the golden ticket to a hit song back then. So you had the likes of B.O.B. with Airplanes, you had Tiny Temper, Written in the Stars, you had a few tracks with Ellie Goulding, and you name it, 50 Cent was doing it, fucking Jason Derulo was kind of like that shit. There was Pitbull, there was fucking a load anyway. And yeah, I was bopping to that type of shit. And I suppose the real turning point for me, first of all, on the football team I played with, everyone was listening to Eminem, and We Made You by Eminem was just out at the time, and everyone was playing that on their phones and fucking Bluetoothing it to each other on the bus and stuff. And I wasn't really a popular kid. I was sitting out the front of the bus and I could hear them fucking playing Eminem at the back of the bus, and I kind of resigned myself to sitting at the front of the bus and not being the cool kid at the back, I guess. I wasn't really the cool kid at all back then, and not much better now myself either, to be honest with you, like, but that's okay. If you look at Eminem, he was never the cool kid. Until he blew up, if that makes him cool. He's a cool guy anyway. I'll give him credit for that, man. And I'd like to say the same about myself anyway. But anyway, that's when I first started hearing Eminem, and I was like, yeah, that shit's cool, man. I do like that. And yeah, I talked about a game changer. A game changer for me, there was a shop called HMV in Galway City. It was a music shop. they sold DVDs and shit as well, but like they had all the albums there on shelves, and I went over and there was a pair of Beats by Dre, and I was like, at the time, I was thinking like, these must be the best headphones ever. These must be the ultimate headphones. Put the headphones on and they were playing Dr. Dre, and they played What's the Difference by Dr. Dre. And I could hear it so clear on literally the cleanest headphones I'd ever wore in my life, where I could hear everything. And what's for dinner? What's the Difference came on, and I heard that boom, 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 and it was just like, fuck, that is the dopest shit I've ever heard, man. And I was like, the hook came, the hook, it starts off with the hook in it as well, and it's like, what's the difference between me and you, me and you, me and you? And I remembered, it wasn't that difficult to remember, but I made sure I remembered the fucking bars so I could look the song up when I got home. And sure enough, it was Dr. Dre, Exhibit, Eminem, What's the Difference? And I think Nate Dogg is in it as well. Anyway, that's besides the point. It was fucking amazing, and I was like, this is exactly the type of shit I like. So what I like in rap is a good beat, like good samples, good rapping, the basic shit really, like. But I started off loving old school samples and stuff, and I started really getting into Dr. Dre then, the Chronic album, and 2001, I bought his album 2001, I was playing that shit in my room. I had a little CD player with speakers and blasting that shit out. That brings me up to about the age of 13, and I'd be going out to discos with my friends at that age, and obviously they played a load of pop music at them and dance music and techno, and so I always had a taste for that type of shit, because that was kind of the scene we were all in together. But I always loved hip-hop the most, and for example, the other, aside from hip-hop, I would have had Calvin Harris, Avicii. There was several fucking kind of techno-y, dancey kind of music I used to listen to. And I was listening to a lot of Tupac and Biggie, mostly remixes. I'd get remixes of Tupac and Biggie with modern day beats, and it was fire. I liked Jay-Z. Eminem was my favorite. Actually, Dr. Dre was my number one favorite. Eminem was number two. Just because Dre was a bit of an OG and he discovered Eminem, and that kind of made me put him on a pedestal, even though I knew Eminem was a better rapper and probably wrote a lot of Dre's music, but that's how it is. So all of this has had a huge influence on the music I make nowadays. I sit in a pocket of old school boom bap, the best, because that's what I'm used to kind of listening to and stuff. If you take it on to the age of 14, 15, I discovered grime, UK rap, and a bit of trap as well at the time. And obviously I was listening to rap from all over the world, but I started really appreciating grime, like Dizzy Rascal, Kano, Chipmunk. There was a few in there anyway, and that was the bones of it. And I was big into Dizzy Rascal. I really liked Dizzy Rascal. He is a very good rapper. He is really good. And I was like, fuck's sake, Ireland should have a scene like this, because fucking UK was our next door neighbours over there, It's like, if they're fucking doing hip-hop that way, why can't we, man? And sure enough, a few grimy Irish rappers have come and gone on the scene in years past, in years after I had these thoughts, which is why I'm sticking around. I've been around since 2021 and I'm not planning on retiring anytime soon. The dream will never die. As long as I can write raps, and I seem to never lose it, you know. Even if they're not the highest quality raps, I still always have something to write at the end of the day, and that's what matters. And I started getting into Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, and that's when I kind of got a taste for the new school. And yeah, I started listening to trap, all the trap hits, like fucking what even was going on around that time. There was a few anyway. I won't get into the names of them. And I went to France. Well, I went to Reunion Island, a French colony, 18, and I started listening to French rap, and it was all modern trap and auto-tune type shit, and I really liked it. It was really good, and that became like an influence for me in my music too. I was like, you know what, man, I should do this in Ireland. And around 17, 18, I was mad into drill as well, UK drill, and I still love that sound. And Ink, he's an Irish drill artist. He's very good as well. Like, I loved just the dark samples in it. Again, I love samples in rap. Samples are just real hip hop, you know. That's what it's not all it's about, but that is what it's about, like, you know what I mean. Got home from France, got into a real sad boy emo type of vibe, and started fucking with Lil Peep, XXXTentacion, Juice WRLD, bit of Mac Miller. Yeah, there was a few anyway, and yeah. So you take all of these little elements and genres, and you can see how they've influenced my music. And my most recent influence, I keep banging on about him, but it's Husky from Australia, and Wombat, he's a grime artist, and Chillin' It is another one, and Lil Snow and Spanian. So Australian rap, Australian hip-hop, Aussie hip-hop has been a huge influence on my recent work. Like you could say, my first album was hugely inspired by Bones, Lil Peep, Ghostmane, Lil Tracy, who else? Yeah, that's the bones of it anyway. And yeah, my most recent one, Lil Snow, Chillin' It, Husky, Wombat. Did I say Wombat twice there? I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, if we have a quick look at some of my playlists here, I can give you a quick rundown of what kind of genres I'm listening to. So there's techno, there's trap, indie, alt rock, a bit of rock, Kasabian's in there, old school hip hop, DJ music, trap again, drill, emo rap, rap in general, Irish rap, Australian rap. Yeah, I've mentioned all of this anyway, you know. There's some Irish music and shit. I love Florence and the Machine. Like, I always said, if I ever went into music production myself as a producer, I'd sample the fuck out of Florence and the Machine, because that harp that she has and all that going on with her is beautiful. Hosier is great. I love a bit of post-punk as well, and Radiohead, and I love Neil Young. I love Funkadelic. Yeah, and the Eagles and Hotel California. There's just certain songs and certain artists that I have a love for, you know. I'm very specific in the hills that I die on in terms of what music I like. It's just random. Some songs just click with me, or I have a good memory of that song, or someone shows me that song and I'm like, that song kind of reminds me of that person, and they were and still are a big part of my life, and I appreciate them, and that's one of the reasons I like this song so much. And in saying that, I'm referring to actually a lot of people in my life who have showed me certain songs, and I'll put on a song and I'll be like, oh, I remember that time that person showed me that song, and I appreciate them for showing me it, like. And of course I make my own memories with the song then after. So yeah, it's an interesting old journey. And yeah, to answer your question, I think I've already kind of outlined it, but throughout my life, hip hop has dominated like my taste, and I don't think that's going to change ever. I just love hip hop. I love everything about it. I love every subgenre of it. I love every rapper, male or female, good or bad. I appreciate what they do, like, and I study the game a lot and try to perform as best I can in the studio and make the best songs I can, and there's plenty more great music to be made by me and plenty more music to come and all that, you know. How did I get into music? I started rapping at the age of about 10, 11. I remember copying Tiny Tempa and spitting Written in the Stars for my parents in my kitchen at home in Salt Hill. And from then on, I'd always rap along to my favourite songs in my room. I remember Lose Yourself was another one by Eminem. I used to rap along to that. Then what we call the MC phase of music kicked off in Ireland, and that was like techno beats, and people would spit these fast flows on them, and I used to spit my own, and I used to yeah, it made me rap fast, kind of copying them, and it helped. I know for someone who's not from Ireland or is not aware of what the MC kind of scene or phase was, it's difficult to describe it, but if you know, you know. Look into it if you don't know. Look up MC Pat Flynn or MC Lynchy and you'll figure it out. And at 18, I started performing for my friends because I started writing raps seriously. Like, my mates were a bit begrudging, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's all right." Like, they didn't say it was bad, and they didn't say it was good. They were like, "Oh, yeah, that's good." I could tell they were a bit jealous, maybe, of my bars, like, and that's when it really became an outlet for me. At the age of 18, writing poetry and raps, and it was always pretty dark and grim and gritty stuff and grimy stuff I was writing, but it helped me just express a part of me that I needed to talk about, like. And you know, if you listen to most of my music, you'll probably get that impression anyway, like, you know. I got to speak freely and truly and independently. I got to voice my own voice, and to give people a chance to listen to me. And this is my experience and my truth and my thoughts and my feelings, no matter what the context of the song is that I put out there. Like, I really latched onto music, and when I went to reunion, I started rapping for people. I got respect around the town from people because they knew I was a dope rapper. Like, at that time, I don't know if I'm still a dope rapper. Who knows, man? I think, look, I'm okay. I'm a good rapper. at least 5 out of 10, I'd say. I'd love to give myself at least 5 out of 10 anyway. But yeah, that's when I kind of realized as well, you know what? I could potentially make a career out of this if I work hard at it and keep writing every day. And there hasn't been a day since I'm about 17, 18. I'm 26 now. There hasn't been a day where I haven't written something, or at least, I'd say at least 3 days where I haven't written anything, you know. I do keep that skill going, that writing skill. I am constantly writing, like, and it's fucking great. Yeah, it's a massive outlet for me. That's why at the end of my first album, the outro is Bukowski saying this is his psychiatrist letting that shit out. He writes 3 or 4 nights out of 7, and if he doesn't feel right. And in a way, I can relate to that, you know. Obviously, I do go to my psychiatrist and I do go to my therapy and counselling, and that's an outlet for me now too. But I can identify with what he was saying, like. And interestingly enough, first of all, when I was 19, I prepared about 10 songs, and I went to a local studio and I recorded them, and I put them out on SoundCloud. I didn't know how to distribute them to any other platforms, but I put them on SoundCloud, and I was really nervous about, like, anyone finding out about it, like in my social circle or, you know, school friends or whatever. Yeah, I was really nervous, like, so I didn't promote myself at all, and the music was okay, and the thought was there, and it was a start. It was my first bit of music, and I ended up deleting all of that, and COVID hit, and I came back home and into Salt Hill to my mother's house, and my brother is a musician as well. Like, music kind of runs in the family. Plenty of my family play music and perform music, but, like, they're not professional musicians, but there's many musicians, amateur musicians in my family. If not all of us are, like, you know, and that's wonderful. It's great to have that in the family, and it's, for me, music has been such a huge part of my life that, like, I don't think I'd be alive if I didn't have music to help me through the dark times and even the good times and the celebrations and the defeats, the wins, the losses, the boring and dull days, the not so boring and dull days, you know. Music's always been there for me, like, and it's helped me connect with people too, and so on. And anyway, during COVID, I was scrolling through SoundCloud, and I came across this guy called Młody from Poland, and I heard one of his tracks, and it was dope. I was like, fucking hell, man, that shit's hard, man. And I reached out to him. I was like, do you want to make a track together? And he said, yeah, no problem, sounds good. And he was like, I'll mix it, you send the stems to me. The stems are like the audio files of your raw vocals that you send. And I sent them to him, and we made the track Insane, which is like track number 8 on my, or track number 7 on my first album. It's called Insane feat Młody. And it sounded great. And that's when I really got into music. I was like, will you mix more music for me? And I sent him loads of stems and loads of beats I found on YouTube, and we put together an album. And that's how I released my first album in 2021. And I think I was working on it for like 3 or 4 months, possibly longer. But I knew I was just going to build up enough tracks and drop a debut album. I knew it was going to flop because it's my first album, but I knew it would be a good start. incidentally, my first single ever got 174k streams on Spotify and a couple of thousand on other platforms, based on like a platform I got on, and I made sure I got on a load of playlists and stuff. I promoted the fuck out of it, like, and it's sitting on 174k as we speak, which is great. It's a success of sorts. It's mighty, yeah. And I parted ways with Mlody Sleep in 2022 after I went to rehab. I just said, because I dropped the album Solace, my second album, and I said, this is as far as I can go with Mlody. To be honest, I've exhausted all resources and I've put everything into the music, and it's still not quite where I want it to be. I have to evolve. I have to move on. And I have to find better production. Even though I greatly appreciate the impact he's had on my music and my life. So big up Mlody Sleep. I'll link his shit in the description. You can check it out. It's pretty cool. And I started working with DJ Green, a local producer in Galway. We made a track together called All Irish Go to Heaven that has like 98 likes and a couple of K on YouTube and a couple of K on Spotify, which I didn't promote the song at all ever because I was in rehab for a long time after that, months and months. So yeah, it's interesting that one got a little bit of traction online, and the mixing is horrendous, to be honest with you. It's not a professional sound. So I parted ways with DJ Green again. And fast forward a couple of years, 1 year after that, I started work with Arm the Track, another local producer in Galway, and we have been really working hard in the studio every single week, making loads of tracks. And that's how I made my third album and the second installment of The Legend of Ashitaka. It's called Return of the Prince, and it's 16 songs, 16 of our best songs out of maybe 40. Could be 40 songs we made. 16 made it on the album, and that brings us up to today. And I'm working on my next album. Yeah. It's a bit of a long-winded story, but that's as best as I could answer your question at this point in time. I might make a part 2 if I suddenly think of any important information I missed, which I probably did, but such is life. Peace. This has been Prince Ash. Have a good day.